Hey looters, welcome back to Garage Loot, and today I want to go over some big game collecting news. The full lineup for the PlayStation Mini just was released. And as you guys know, the PlayStation Mini is coming out this December for $99. It includes 2 controllers, 20 preloaded games, and some other, it's HDMI out, a bunch of other stuff. You guys have probably seen all that already online. Well, finally they released the full games list. 20 games, and I wanted to go over that right now. There's some good, not to, no spoilers. I think there's a lot of bad on this, and I'm going to give you guys my final opinion. Certain things I want to just, get right off like the bat. This, system comes with 2 regular controllers, not the analog ones, so I wasn't surprised, and they were like Ape Escape and some other later PlayStation games were not on there. So I, take that, as you will. See if you wanted to have those analog controllers. Wouldn't be surprised if they release another one of these if it sells well. But anyways, let's go over the games, guys. There was a bunch that I liked about this. Final Fantasy VII, Grand Theft Auto, Metal Gear Solid. Fantastic, needed to be on here. Oddworld's Abe's Odyssey, another great game. Rayman and Resident Evil, I thought these were 2 must-haves. I like the addition of Revelations Persona. I haven't really played them, but I've always heard good things about the Persona franchise, and it's definitely a system definer. Ridge Racer needed to be on there. I love the addition of Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo. It's a Street Fighter puzzle game. It was on that, and I believe it was also on the Saturn too. Siphon Filter was definitely a must-have on here. It doesn't really hold up today, but back in the 90s, I feel like Siphon Filter was definitely a system definer. So what else we got? Tekken 3, yeah, it needed to be on there, Tekken game. And I really like the Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six edition. I didn't see that coming. The original Rainbow Six is fun. Again, it doesn't really hold up to today, but I definitely felt like it needed to be on there. And Battle Arena Toshinden, I know a lot of hardcore PlayStation people love that one. I'm just going to have to take their word for it. So I've never played it, don't know much about it, but overall, that is the good. The dislikes I have on here, Cool Borders 2 generic snowboarding game. I'm not surprised that it's on there. It's kind of a filler title, but Destruction Derby, Intelligent Cube, Jumping Flash, Mr. Driller. Why? Like, I know some people like some of those games, but seriously, those are not the games I think of when I think of original PlayStation, which is going to come to my questions. And Wild Arms, eh. My biggest questions, I love that they added a Twisted Metal game, and that's why I held it off here. The original Twisted Metal is on this thing. But why did they pick the original? I would have rather seen 2 on there. 2 was much, much, much better. The first one's not bad, but it's just, it begs the question. I felt like if you're going to have a collection of some of the best PlayStation games, you really needed to have 2 on there. I'm glad like I said, I'm glad there's 1 on there, but really needed 2. Tony Hawk and Gran Turismo, I would have loved to have seen on there. I am not surprised with licensing with those 2 to get the licenses for all the cars from a Gran Turismo, and like I said, Tony Hawk, the music. Tony Hawk 2 would have been fantastic, but you know what? I'm not going to complain because, like I said, those 2 were kind of like in my dreams they'd be on there, but it's okay that they're not. This thing left off some major defining PlayStation games. There is no Crash Bandicoot. There is no Spyro. The original PlayStation, in my opinion, was defined by Crash. It would be like the Nintendo, Classic not having a Mario game on it. That was, like I said, I grew up in the 90s, and that Crash was like the Mario rival back then. It was like the Sonic of PlayStation. I understand they just had that Classics collection come out. I understand that, they're trying to sell it in other ways, but I needed 1 Crash title. Just 1. Spyro in the same thing. It's not as big as Crash, but that was another series definer. Everyone owned a Crash or a Spyro game that owned a PlayStation. I would have loved to have seen a Mega Man game. Mega Man 4 would have been great. I'm saving one till the end. A driver game would have been great. Instead of the Destruction Derby. The final one I'm saying, really? No Symphony of the Night? Like, I thought that was going to be like a shoo-in must-have on the system. I was absolutely stunned that they did not have that game. That seemed like the home run hitter. I cannot believe that Konami didn't release it. It is just a shocker. So looters, here's my final opinion on the PlayStation Classic. And yes, I know I keep calling it the PlayStation Mini. It's a fail. It's an absolute fail. There's some good, but there's way more bad. And for a $99 price tag, the PlayStation deserves better. I look at these classic systems and they really not only, appeal to the casual gamer, as a memory, they really serve as like a historical monument to a gone era. And this one is just missing too much. I can let the, controllers without the analog sticks go. I can let no Tony Hawk or Gran Turismo go. I can let the, picking just an average Twisted Metal game or the original one, I can let that go. But no Crash, no Spyro, no Symphony of the Night. I feel like a bunch of filler titles. It misses it. Sony, you could have done better. You could have done better. When I look back at the 90s and I look back at, the games that everybody had, this doesn't have it. And the PlayStation deserves better. It really does. So I don't know. Do you guys agree with me? I had to record this, while I had, a fresh mindset on it when I just saw the list. This is kind of my first reaction to it. And, for economic game collecting, this should be a nice little package, for the holidays for your, casual gamer. Nintendo did it with theirs, and this one misses the mark. So what do you guys think? Please leave a comment in the comment section. I'm going to do a lot more of these kind of, game collecting sort of news sort of things, especially the economics. I mean, this thing basically comes out to $5 a game, which isn't a bad price, but when you look at what you're getting, I'm sorry. I know Final Fantasy what the prices go for, but, there's a PlayStation store where you can download these titles. They're easily available, and, for this kind of package, it missed the mark. So, one man's trash, another man's loot, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day.